So we just put ordinary sugar. This is a desperation method of feeding bees, and they're very reluctant to do anything about it unless they're starving. And there's only a handful of bees there. Now it's dirty sugar because it's a bit of sugar that was given to me. We sell honey to a firm that does a lot in, make a lot of jam and sweepings on the floor and things like that. So they give us that, and I just open the drum up and just put a bit on the tray here to give you an idea. It does work. It works better in the cold weather, but bees need to be starving and their only existence. In my way, it's a way of feeding bees without going to a lot of cost. And yeah, so, but it does work. There's a few bees chewing around it, and there's a bit of condensation in it. I'll get a bit of sustenance out of it, right? So, because people, while I'm doing that, people will say feed dry sugar is good, but you know, it all depends. I think it's just survival. Right, next one. Now, that was chock-a-block full of syrup, and where's this scale's turned on here? What's it say? A bit over 3 kilos.
3.148.
Yeah. What was on the lid, Don?
Yeah, the bees chased it away.
It had 6.8, so at least half the syrup has gone out of it in 2 or 3 days. I'm inclined to think I might have a little bit too much straw in there. They're having a bit of trouble getting down to the syrup now, so I think I might take a bit of it out. Although you see the bees sort of down in there, so they're gnawing their way down to the syrup, and then they climb now through the straw. But we'll take a bit of straw out so that they don't have to fight so hard to get it. And now, oh, we want to smoke, do we? Right, how about you? You all right? Yep. These combs were practically empty the other day. There was an empty box of combs on there, so they're definitely storing the stuff. This white comb, it was completely empty, so they're definitely storing it, so it does work. This is another 2-frame feeder. And how much was in that 7K? Yep. See, in amongst that straw, and the syrup would have been chock-a-block there. It's about that much left in it now. Well, the experts will say never feed honey to bees because you're frightened of disease. But if it's honey off your own beehives, your own beehives should be clean of disease. There's American foul brood is most hassle. There is no problem with feeding honey that you've extracted and fed back to bees. And if this honey's been put in one of those plastic bags I showed you, and because it's thick, bees take it very, very slowly. And all I've done is put a few prick marks. See where the bees are collected around there, around there, around there. They're sucking the honey out. These are the plastic aluminium trays. Right. Same thing now. Originally there would have been 1.7 in the feeder. That was Thursday, but I've topped it up a couple of days since. I never checked it since. I just topped it up, so it's most likely about 5 kilos in it.
And you don't have to change the straw over regularly?
Straw itself might deteriorate, you know, but these wood shavings we use doesn't seem to. When you're opening hives, never get terribly excited about whipping lids off, right? You give them 2 or 3 puffs of smoke, and you know, all the books say don't use any more smoke than you need, but when you're rugged up like you people, you're never sure whether bees are cranky or not, because they can't get at you. And smoke is what controls bees, not uniform, right? And so don't be frightened to use it. And I've written a paper just recently that, and I'm sort of saying, instead of just giving a little bit of smoke or all that, just we're putting numbers alongside, 2 or 3 puffs like that, right? And then the lid the same, like that, and then just put it down for a couple of seconds so the smoke drifts across the bees, right? Oh well, this is a fairly strong single, so that's why you've got a whole heap of bees in the lid. That's how it works, right? So
we're going to make a comment on the dress that you've got there now. And I can understand everyone is very, very apprehensive of being stung by bees. But if you're rugged up as you are here now, exactly what Bob said, you cannot tell what the bees are thinking. Now, if you can slowly convert yourself to working without protection, you'll find that the bees will respond a lot better. This thing here is your prime weapon, not your coverage. Now, having said that, it doesn't always apply. If you've got bees that are cranking for some reason, they're working messmate for argument's sake, or the nectar's very thin, or it's not coming in readily. I can put that down now. Yes, you will need protection, but a lot of people wear gloves. That's probably, in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, the very worst thing you can do. Because you put your gloved hand down there and the bees come out and they're attacking it like mad, but you can't feel it. So you make the mistake of continuing to work that hive.
We'll go and find.
And if you work that hive when they're angry, they're going to get worse and worse and worse. So if you use a little smoke, like that, you open it up and the bees are either flying or you're getting stung, it's time to use more smoke. I recommend to you, try and get back to the stage where you use a minimum amount of protection. It's easy, you can walk up to your beehive and work it. You don't have to go to the car and get all this gear on. But it's entirely up to you.
Yes. I get in trouble for not wearing not enough.
There's a reason for it, isn't there?
Oh, I don't like heat. I don't like being hot. The bee stings don't hurt that much anyway, it's just... let's stop dribbling, eh? During the winter they will not consume a lot of honey or nectar. But at the same time, when we think our spring starts in September, as far as the bees are concerned, spring, in my opinion, starts once you get past the 22nd of June and the days start to get about a minute or a minute and a half longer. As soon as the days start to get longer, there's that incentive. Don't let it get big, but we've fed bees in the spring, early in the spring, to get them in fairly strong conditions and to get them to breed early for almond pollination, because we go into almond pollination at the end of July, and quite often if there's a bit of pollen out in the field, they'll start breeding, but you need to stimulate them to fly a bit. So, but we've never, I can remember one winter when bees went in a fairly poor condition in the winter, so there was a feeling that we needed to feed them early to stimulate a bit of brood breeding. One beekeeper, and we took the bees in the mallee where there's a bit of wild turnip starts flowering about June, or late May and June. He started feeding his bees, some bees, loads of bees, in May, and I said, no, you're 6 weeks too early, end of June is when you start. And he made special note of it, and he said that, and a lot of his other bees, he never started feeding them until towards the end of June, and he reckons the bees he started feeding at the end of June were in better condition than the ones he started feeding in July. Yeah, the extra tuck we put into them to stimulate them in May and into late June didn't make any difference. It was of no advantage. It was just a cost that was wasted. No more often we have to. Yeah, that's not answering questions. A lot of people say you should requeen annually. I'm totally opposed to that. No, I'm opposed to that, not totally. The theory they work on is a young queen is more disease resistant and more virile. But you know, the old days we used to try and requeen every second year. And I'm not sure why we've shortened it to 12 months, but I got a lot of problem being convinced that an older queen is more prone to these diseases than a younger queen. That older queen is performing well. The strength will be high, and the bees themselves that control your European foul brood, your chalk brood, and the other minor bee diseases. It's the population of bees in the hive that control that more so than the queen. Genetic controls that's a great thing, and I think good quality queen is what you want. But once you get past the genetics, the age of the queen, if she's performing well, is not as important an issue as a lot of people have made it in recent years. You know, when we first got European foul brood, it was the first time we got a very bad brood disease that wasn't American foul brood that didn't destroy it. And it's a brood disease that spread very rapidly through a load of bees. And requeening was put down as one of the treatments. But it wasn't requeening in my opinion. We did experiment with it. It was the fact that by killing the old queen and putting a young queen in, there's always a break in the brood cycle, a week or up to a fortnight. Well, a week at least before she starts to lay, and then we put a queen phase in, because it'd be a fortnight to 3 weeks before she'd be in full lay. That break in the brood cycle gives the bees a chance to clean the disease out, because they're not feeding young larvae. Like European foul brood as its worst is created in the spring when bees are breeding very, very heavily. A lot of pollen coming in, a lot of nectar, and then you get a week of crook weather, very little nectar coming and very little pollen. They're breeding very heavily, they're laying, and the queen's laying as many eggs as she possibly can, and those bees are encouraging them, and they've got a lot of young larvae to feed. And quite often you get that poor spell, that spell of crook weather, there's not a lot coming in from the field, and they haven't got enough tucker to spread around. So some of the brood gets half-starved, and that's when European brood can escalate, you know. You stop the queen laying for a week, a fortnight, there's a chance to clean, like they control these sort of diseases. You can have European foul brood and a few cells all the year round, and 9 times out of 10 the bees cleaned out. Chalk brood's much the same. You get a good frame of brood and you find 20 or 30 cells in it with no brood in it. It's usually, in my opinion, disease larvae. The bees have seen it as it's developed and got rid of it. And got rid of the infection out of the hive, so they're controlling it. You know? So, I don't know whether I wanted off the question or not at all, but, we start on age of queens, yeah.